Hey guys, I am back and it has been a while. Can you tell? If you've seen my last video, which was Stuck in a Rut, spoiler, this is a sort of a follow-up to that. You may have noticed that my hair did not look like this, and that is because I have not got it cut since then. I think at the point of that video, well, I guess it's still true today, but the last haircut that I've got was I think in August of 2021, so it's been over a year and I have no plans to get it cut anytime soon. I'm sure one day it will happen, but as of now it is not on the to-do list. So anyways, like I said, this is going to be sort of a follow-up, sequel, whatever you want to call it, to my previous video, which was called Stuck in a Rut. I posted that, I believe, on Halloween of last year. It is not quite Halloween yet. I think today is October 15th of 2022. But it's been close enough to a year where, I feel like this type of, sort of follow-up is warranted because a lot of stuff happens in a year. Anyways, so what has changed with me? I would say there's probably, I'd say like three main things. Just kind of thinking about it before this video. Again, this isn't really scripted, but I did watch the last video before I started recording this and kind of just put together in my head, like, how have things changed since then? What did I talk about that's still true, or, whatever. To start off on just stuff that's just completely new, where I'm living is a little bit different. I wasn't there in the last video. I was at home just for the weekend, I think. But if you saw my iPad video, you may have noticed that I was living in a tiny cubicle with two other guys. Of course, now that I'm not a freshman anymore, that has changed, and now I am living in the frat house. So, I have my own actual room and amenities, so that's nice. I'd say that's probably the biggest thing that's changed because I'm here every single day, at least most of the days. Number two, about a month after I recorded that last video, I started dating a new girl, and believe it or not, I'm actually still dating her. That probably doesn't mean much to you, but it does to me, because before her, I believe the longest lasting relationship I had ever held was like 4 months, maybe 5. So, we're coming up on a year. I'm pretty confident that the year checkpoint will come by, so I'm happy about that. It's been going good, and of course the girl drama, I think is what I called it in the last video, that's all gone, so hip hip hooray. Number 3 would be that I worked again over the summer, which is not inherently a new thing for me. I've done that every year since I've gotten into high school, but this time I did it while living on campus over summer. I stayed over summer because back in the spring of last year, I had 2 different options for which calculus class I wanted to take, and at the time I didn't know really what the difference was, so I picked the one that just worked better for my schedule, because either one worked perfectly fine. The only difference was the difficulty of the course, but once you're done, then for my major it did not make a single difference. So I picked the one that worked better with my schedule, and oops, that was the one that was a lot harder, and I was not prepared for. I wouldn't necessarily be against taking a harder course, but for me to actually succeed in that class, I would have had to go take like another calculus preparation class or something like that, and I didn't really want to do that because the other option, the other calc class that I could do, was just quite a bit easier, and I did that over the summer and I got an A in it, so that beats taking 2 more classes instead. So to kind of get back on point, while I was staying over summer, of course, I needed to work, and I worked a lot. I worked, I believe it was 40 hours, up until a certain point, it was 40 hours a week, even for a while I was doing that summer calc class, which it was just one class, so, I know people who have balanced much more at one point. but it's still not ideal. So I worked quite a bit over summer, made some money because the money I'd had from before was I was gonna say it was low. It was basically just out. So you know, I'm living in a good place. I'm going good when it comes to relationships, and I have money. So 3 good things. I wouldn't say that there's been any big negative things that have happened over the past year, besides my wonderful cat Coco passed away back in April. She was almost 19. We had her since, I don't remember exactly which month, but it was just a few months after I was born back in 2003. So she passed away, unfortunately, which was a big bummer. I've had, you know, I've had a couple friends pass away, and I've had, you know, my voice keeps cracking. Need some water. Hold up. Let me get a nice swig of the water. Anyways, like I was saying, you know, I've dealt with death and loss before, but, you know, even though it was a cat, this one was hit especially hard because it was a, you know, a cat that I had known. It felt like it's not literally my entire life, but, you know, we got her when I was a few months old, so I have no memory of a life without her, or I didn't before she died at least. So, you know, hit pretty hard. So that was very sad, but I'm doing good now. So, rip Coco. Anyways, to get onward, let's go. I wrote down a couple. The last video that I did like this was completely unscripted. This one is still pretty much unscripted, but I have a small outline of how I want to talk about things. So I remember one of the things that I rewatched the last video before I started making this, and one of the things I touched on at the very beginning was about how I had this itch to make videos, but couldn't really get myself to either come up with good ideas, or even once I did, a lot of the times I would pick very big projects, work on them for a long time, and then just drop them before they were done. And that's something that I've still kind of dealt with. There's been a video that I worked on a lot over summer that was probably going to be, I don't want to say was, because I actually picked it up and worked on it some more today, so it may eventually come out, I don't know. But, you know, if it does, it's going to be like over an hour long, and I need to stop doing these big projects. I feel like that's kind of what's been getting in my way a little bit, because all of my time that I've spent working on videos, which, you know, in all fairness, I don't spend a ton of time working on videos. I still kind of got to get that thing down of, you know, just sitting down and actually working on them. But the time that I have spent has been on big projects. If you remember last time, there was a 90 gigabyte Final Cut project that I was working on. And I really did try to get that one done, but it was like a playthrough of I believe it was Mario 3 on the virtual, I don't want to say virtual console, but you know, the NES Online app on the Switch. And it was going good. We got done with most of the game, but then I homebrewed my Switch and I accidentally got it banned, so I couldn't access my save file anymore. So I was like, you know what, I'll just cut it here. So I did render that video, but it's not a complete playthrough of the game, so it's whatever. So yeah, I'm still kind of struggling on that part, but I kind of want to get back to just making shorter length videos again, because that seems to be what I am best at. And similar to last time, where I made a video of me just talking about my life because A, I wanted to, and B, because it's a short, easy thing that I can do that doesn't take a whole lot of work, you know, that's why I'm doing it again, because it's been a year, and you know, it's a fitting time to make, you know, sort of a response to that last video. But also I just want to get something uploaded because I don't want to be done with YouTube. I like it. I have a lot of fun with it. So anyways, back to the iPad real quick. That's where I got my outline on. So another thing that I talked about quite a bit in that video was how I sort of felt unfulfilled. I didn't necessarily feel sad or, you know, depressed or anything, but at the same time I didn't feel like, you know, I could feel happy, but I wouldn't say overall that I was happy. And overall, in the 1 year that has passed since then, I do feel better. I do feel quite a bit better. But I still kind of have the same problem a little bit, where a lot of the stuff I do, it's not that I don't find enjoyment out of it anymore, but I'm a lot more conscious about the value of what I'm doing. I can sit down and play a game or something, or watch a show or whatever, and enjoy it, but at the same time when I'm enjoying it, it creeps up in my mind like, you know, I could be doing something else that is, you know, that provides more value, that's more productive right now, like, you know, working on a video, or, you know, working on programming. I took a programming class both semesters last year, and unlike when I did it in high school, I did one in high school, and although I enjoyed it, I was kind of getting the feeling that I didn't know if I wanted to do programming type stuff. That has changed now. I'm not sure if it's the different languages or what, but especially with my C# class that I did in the spring, I like it a lot. So I've been wanting to kind of keep that going. I'm going to end up be taking another class for it, I believe, next semester, but I want to sort of keep my skills sharp because, you know, after a year, I'm sure it'll take me a little bit to get back on track with where I was. But hold on, gotta recollect my thoughts. I keep going off on little tangents and then forgetting what the subject was about. But oh yeah, so, you know, it's not that I don't find enjoyment out of doing things anymore, but it's just the fact that you know, I think a lot more critically about, you know, is this a good use of my time or whatever. But even when I, you know, realize like, hey, you know, this isn't exactly a, you know, productive, you know, value generating task that I'm doing, it's still kind of hard for me to switch over, you know, my mindset and, you know, get doing something like that. Because like I said, sometimes it's hard to just come up with ideas for what I want, or a lot of the times, I found a big one is that I switch what I want to do. You know, one day I'll be like, I really want to work on videos, and I'll put a whole lot of work into that. And the next day I'll be like, I don't want to work on that right now. I want to focus on, you know, doing programming stuff or working on, you know, a game or something like that. And I'll go to something else the next day. And, you know, it's just a huge cycle. And in the end, I make progress on all of them, but none of them very fast. So, you know, and that's pretty similar, kinda, to what I was going through last year. But I would say it has definitely improved since last year. And when it comes to just the overall satisfaction of how my life is going, something that I feel like I've come to the realization of since I recorded that was, if you watched the last video, I'm going to be making references to the last video a whole lot in this. So if you haven't seen it, and you want to watch this video, I'd recommend go checking that out. But I was talking about how I again have lost my track. Hold on. Yeah, I was just kind of, I said that I was expecting once I got to college for my life to just change completely, and it did, but on paper it changed, but I was expecting it to change, you know, in practice as well, and it didn't feel as much, you know, it didn't feel like it changed as much as I was expecting it to. And what I mean by that is not like, you know, like I said, on paper, like what I'm actually doing. Like, obviously my life is completely different, you know, when it comes to the course of what I'm doing throughout the day now that I'm in college. But, you know, back in high school, I always thought like, yeah, you know, it's kind of hard for me to, you know, work on videos or stuff at home because, you know, my family, you know, I have a decent sized family and they're home a lot of the time, so I can't always, you know, record because they might get on, you know, you might be able to hear them on the mic, or they might, you know, tell me to be quiet because they're trying to watch a show in the living room or whatever. I was expecting once I got to college, stuff like that to not be a problem anymore. And on paper, like I said, it wasn't, you know, now, especially now that I'm in my own room instead of a dorm with multiple people all at the same time. that has changed. But I guess the mentality I went into college with was I was kind of expecting myself to just naturally, start taking full advantage of that freedom right away. I expected it, I guess sort of the, I'm looking for the word to use for this. I didn't expect to have to actually push myself to, make videos and stuff like that anymore once I got into college, because that was one of the main things that I thought was kind of stopping me back in high school was, the location of where I was and, being in class all day and not having very much time. I didn't think I had many opportunities, which was true. But once I got to college, even though I did have more freedom and more opportunities to do stuff like that, my mind was still kind of in the same, the same setting of where it was like, it was very easy for me to find excuses to not do that kind of stuff and not record a video. Because, last year, for example, I would be like, well, the guys are in here, so I can't record a video because, you're going to hear them talking, which honestly was completely valid. It was very hard to work on stuff last year if I wanted it to be just me. And that can be seen because the only video I made that was solo was at my house, ironically enough. But, so to kind of summarize all the gibberish I just said, I was expecting the benefits to freedom to apply to my life immediately without me having to actually put forward an effort to take advantage of it. I feel like that's probably going to be the best I'm going to be able to describe it, just speaking off script and whatever. So, yeah, that's kind of one of the big things, and I don't think that's a full, key to the problem that'll just solve it all, but that's something I've really realized. And something that kind of goes hand in hand with that is for a very long time, I've always had a habit of just always looking forward to whatever the next thing is. Back in high school, I was really excited for moving into college because, again, I'm not going to repeat myself, for the 15 millionth time about, being free and all that. But, I was looking forward to that. And, of course, I got it. But then once I got into that dorm last year, then I was like, I started looking forward to the next thing, which, like it wasn't even the end of the first semester before I was really looking forward to moving into a place my sophomore year. I was always just living my life I was wanting to live it one step ahead of where I actually was. And every time I eventually did reach that next step, it was on to the third step or the fourth step or whatever. I never really took the time to just enjoy the step when I get there. And that's something that kind of dawned on me a few days ago when I was just thinking about stuff. Before I was even planning on making this video, actually. Because near the end of my freshman year, I was super excited to live, finally have my own room and my own place and all that. And, of course, when I did move in at first, I had that, sort of like, that period where I was like, wow, this is new and fresh and exciting and all that, which was nice. But, after a while, it just became the same old, But, so I just kind of started thinking about that. And I was like, I was so excited to move into my own room and have my, my own place that's just mine my sophomore year. And I never really did just like take the time to fully enjoy that. Once I got here, I just kind of let it become normal, which of course, there are obvious benefits to having my own room as opposed to, that small dorm that, three of us are living in at the same time. But even though I know objectively that this is better, I guess I just didn't process it all the way. It didn't, after a while, once it became normal, it didn't feel much better. It felt like life, which is what it felt like, a little bit after I got into college last year, which is what it felt like, in high school and all that. So that kind of dawned on me, and, I've been trying to, get myself to appreciate a little more the, not just the journey, but the destination as well. A lot of people will say that the journey is just as important as the destination. I absolutely agree with that, but it's not more important, at least in the context that I'm talking about it. So again, to kind of summarize, one of the big things I felt like I struggled with a lot, or I feel like I did struggle with, I still do, but was, always looking forward to the future and not enjoying the present. Because the present that I have now was the future I was really excited and looking forward to, just a few months ago. And, I'm happy I'm here. I got what I wanted, and it is nice. So I guess that's kind of the main thing I wanted to talk about. I'm trying to think. There was one more thing I got on the iPad. Hold up. Let me take a look at this. Enter my password. Come on. This is the same iPad as the one I unboxed last year, obviously. I don't have the money to replace an iPad every year. The last note was about talking about staying in the moment. So I guess that's kind of the main thing I want to talk about in this video. So I'm going to sort of wrap it up. This video, I don't believe is as broad as the last one. I certainly have talked about a few different things today, but I mainly wanted to talk about, one of the things that, I've sort of come to realize since last year. I've had a lot of time to think about it. But, and of course, I wouldn't say any of the problems that I talked about last year are completely fixed. Those broad sort of life crisis type problems, don't typically tend to ever be completely fixed, but they do certainly get better. And I'd say my problem of, always looking forward to things and then just moving on to the next thing after that, again, not completely fixed. And I don't think it's bad to look forward to the future either, but again, it's nice to just enjoy it once you get it. So I feel like there's something else I want to talk about, but I can't really think of it. So I guess I'm going to kind of wrap it up now. I said that a few minutes ago too, but that's basically going to be the end of this video. So whoever watched this, whether it's someone I know or a random person who's just gone down the YouTube rabbit hole, thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it, especially if you've made it to the end. If you didn't, then I don't blame you, but then again, if you didn't, you're not hearing me say this. So I did really feel like it was worth making another one of these videos. I was kind of debating it a little bit. But not only is this an easy thing to just, to make and upload to YouTube, that, something I can make quick and easy. It's not a 90 gigabyte Final Cut project like last time. But even though there's only like 55 views on the last video, last I checked at least, and only one comment from one of my friends that was just a generic, like, good job or something like that. I had a couple people respond to, or not respond, but like message me personally after I made that video and really talk to me about how they could relate to it, and they're glad that they're not the only one. And that was only like one or two people that did that, but that alone, is worth it enough for me to warrant making another one of these. So to who said that, I don't know if I don't imagine you have a problem with these. I know Luke, if you're watching this, Luke, I really did appreciate your response to it, and that means a lot that you said that. It's been a long time since I've seen you, so hopefully we'll cross paths again one day. But if you're watching this again, hey, hope you're doing well. But yeah, that's why I felt like it would be a good idea for me to make this video. So, all right, I'm getting to the point where the actual content to my words is kind of going down. I'm starting to just kind of fill in stuff. So I'm gonna end it here. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully I'll be able to get some smaller videos up sometime soon, because I don't want to drop YouTube. I like it a lot, but we'll see. Maybe my next video will be in October 2023, Stuck in a Rut 3. So regardless of whatever I do next, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.